Hey, Tribe Up, great day. Welcome to the House of Cons. I'm Blackjack. I don't even know what day it is, y'all. I know it's Friday. What the date is? Oh, March 29, 2024. So do me a favor, hit the like, subscribe, and share the video. Even though we ain't said nothing yet. Feel me? But hit the like anyway, subscribe, and share the video. Unless you a bussy. If you a bussy, hit the dislike. Hit the dislike, you old bussy. And if you a real nigga, go on and join the Patreon. We got the Patreon getting lit, man. If you ain't on the Patreon, man, you missing out. That's all I can tell you. You missing out if you ain't on the Patreon. The Patreon over there getting lit. You know, we trying to do it bigger than YouTube these days. We ain't trying to let YouTube just be some kind of monopoly. You feel me? We trying to do it bigger than that. So if you a real nigga, join the Patreon. It ain't nothing but $5 a month. If you ain't got $5 a month, I don't want your goof ass on the Patreon anyway. Yeah, we don't want no broke ass knockers on the Patreon, man. You ain't got $5 a month. Get the hell off my Patreon. Salute Instinct in the house. Tribe Up. Real knockers on the Patreon only. No goofy knockers. No broke ass goofy knockers. If you a $5 ass, don't get on my Patreon. But real noggers, get on the Patreon. Bussies, stay away. We're gonna cuss your ass out if you come up in there on that bussy. If you come up in my Patreon on that bussy type of time, we gonna get on your ass, knocker. But if you a real nogger, real noggers only, cause hey, we know the show in the few. We trying to keep it official like that. We ain't trying to rock out with everybody all up in our business and jump. Everybody all up in our business eavesdropping, so we ain't doing it like that. I started not to even go live tonight, but it's Friday. I was bored. I was like, let me get on YouTube, see what these knockers talking about. I started doing my search. Knockers ain't talking about nothing. I was like, damn. I guess I better go on live then. I know I told y'all I wasn't going live in the public till May. And I'm going to keep it real with that. I'm just fucking around tonight, though. I decided to stick my face online and say what's up. But if you're a real nogger, it's lit on the Patreon. Patreon.com/House of Cons. If you're a real nogger, only real noggers only, no fake noggers. I don't like fake noggers. If you're a real nogger, we got the cash up on the screen, cash.app/$House of Cons. Salute. Cause we know, man. Alright, we finna talk some shit now. Cause we know we got more work than all these other knockers.
You big dummy.
We know we got more work than these knockers. These knockers ain't even got half our videos. I give these knockers a year to catch up with me. Knockers ain't even got half the videos I got. I'm gonna give them knockers some time to catch up. But House of Cons, we got about 12 Patrons so far. We trying to triple that. We trying to get 36 Patrons. We really want more than that. But yeah, if you're a real knocker, join the Patreon. That's where it's gonna be at. That's where it's going down. That's where all the sources at. That's where all the new information at. And it's getting lit over there. So if you want to be a part of something, be a part of something. But let's get into what we talking about today, man. We just talking about the American people, my nigga. And we looking back at the thumbnail from a third eye point of view, not a bird eye point of view. And yeah, when we talking about the American people, you gotta understand exactly who we talking about. You know, it ain't hard to figure it out. You just gotta pay attention. You gotta open your eyes sometimes. You gotta take a close look sometimes. You gotta slow down and smell the roses. You wanna smell the weed all the time, don't you slow down and smell the roses sometimes. But this thumbnail though says a lot. I ain't about to get into where it come from. I ain't about to get into all that. This the public live stream. Damn all that. That shit on Patreon. You wanna know where it come from, the source and all that? Get on Patreon. Well, don't worry about it. But what we looking at, and what we see here, what we observing from a third eye point of view, is the American people. It look like you. I got some arrows on there pointing out some stuff that people might not have missed, because I know people so indoctrinated, so brainwashed, they don't take the time to look at nothing. People just look at something real quick, and you can ask them 2 minutes later what they just saw. They won't even be able to tell you. Ain't that funny? You can put a picture in front of somebody for 10 seconds. You can take it down and you can say, now what that person had on. They won't be able to tell you, man, because people don't pay attention. So I throw the arrows up there sometimes just to try to get you to pay a little bit of attention. Try to get you to see something that you might have glossed over. If you was moving so fast and you really wasn't paying attention, you wouldn't notice these things. You would just when people look at stuff, they notice the main thing that jump out and catch their eye. They might not notice the little things, but the little things sometimes are some of the most important things. But you would look at this image and most people just see the black man on there and they'll just say, okay, I see some black man, I see America written at the bottom, but you're missing so much more when you do that. When you do stuff like that, you're missing so much more. You're supposed to look at it with the eye of an artist. You're supposed to look at every crevice of the page. You're supposed to not just gloss over it. You're supposed to look at every single detail. And that's what we're gonna do right now. These arrows pointing out a detail that's very telling. It's connecting the dots on the detail that let you know, for one, stuff is authentic. It's letting you know this stuff is authentic. And it's also connecting the dots and corroborating evidence. You know, you corroborate the evidence. You know, if the killer had on a size 12 shoe on a murder, and you saw some size 12 shoe footprints, and you'll connect the dots on that. You'll corroborate the evidence. You'll say, hey man, there's some size 12 footprints right there next to the body. There's a Nike check on those footprints, and what lo and behold, you have on size 12 Nikes. So you corroborate the evidence. That's how it works in the court of law. That's how you prove things. That's how you prove truth and lies, by corroborating evidence. You can easily find out the truth just by slowing down and corroborating the evidence. That's what we're doing right now. So we pointing out something on this with these two arrows, and I'm gonna blow it up some more just to make sure y'all don't miss it. Cause I know, like I say, I know a lot of Nagas, you're so busy in your life. You're so busy out here working for $5 an hour, whatever you're doing. You work for $5 an hour, so you can't pay $5 a month on Patreon. We get it. But you so busy that you always missing something. But we gonna show you what you missing, cause we got time. And don't get it twisted. We gotta go to work too, just like you. We're gonna blow it up some more. So the arrows are pointing out tobacco rolls. Ain't that something? On the image in the background, they got a tobacco roll laid down across the table. You see it right there? Right above the AME in America. Some of y'all probably go to an AME church. That ain't got nothing to do with nothing, but I'm just saying. But right above the AME, you see the roll of tobacco and a Naga holding it. Now the Naga on the picture holding the roll of tobacco on the left, right above the AME, a Naga dress fly. He look like he about to go to a pre-Columbian nightclub. That Naga got on the animal skin hoodie, and he got on a Machiavelli medallion, and he piped up. He got a pipe in his mouth. He got his smoke. He got his pleasures of the smoke. Then across the table, he got his tobacco roll. Now, I just, when I saw this image, the first time I ever saw this image, I was like, wow, because I studied this stuff. So, like, anytime I look at an image and I see something, if it's something I done studied and it's something that I know I done seen before, it jumps out at me. It jumps out at me like the red arrow there, and I ain't even put it there yet. So I have to put the red arrow to show you what I be seeing. See, when I look at this stuff, y'all, I already be seeing the red arrows before they there. So I have to put them there to make sure y'all see them. But that Naga got a tobacco roll on that table. He's smoking the pipe. Let me blow it up some more for cause I know some big ass dummies gonna come in here, probably already in here talking crazy. Man, nigga don't know you know what you talking about, Blackjack. You be talking crazy on here. F you, Blackjack. Get back offline, Naga. We glad you gone. I know I got them Nagas out there. I'm gonna blow it up some more just for them. Just for them Umar Nagas. Alright, y'all see that, right? Hit me in the chat and let me know if you see that tobacco roll. Let me see, we're talking about the American people. You see, he even blowing out a little smoke. Y'all see that? My guy is blowing, he's exhaling. He ain't on that Billy Clinton talking about he didn't inhale. That man inhaled, exhaled, and inhaled again. He puff pass. He got the whole tobacco roll on the. He might be the plug. See, that's what y'all ain't figuring out. Y'all ain't figuring out that the man was the plug. That the Indians was the plug to the whole world when it comes to the smoke, to tobacco. And that's why they ran up in your trap and stole your land, because you had the smoke. That's the language you knockers can understand. You knockers can understand it like that. But he got that roll. He's smoking. And this, when I first saw this, I thought it was a camel in the back, but that might be an alpaca or a llama or something. I don't know. But one thing I do know, that's a nigga right there with a Tupac medallion, smoking the pipe, and he got on tobacco right there. That Indian right there, that's a nigga. One thing I do know, that's a nigga. Now, with that being said, when we look at the first tobacco Indian statues, what do we see? We see the same damn thing. And they got the nerve to tell us that this is not real. They gonna say, well, we made the tobacco Indians blackjack because we thought they was Africans. We didn't know what they looked like. We was blindfolded when we colonized America, and the European tobacco carvers did not know what American Indians look like. This is what we told, right? But when you corroborate the evidence, the map makers must have didn't know either. I guess the map makers was blindfolded too while they was colonizing. They ain't know what the Indians look like, so they made niggas too. But I guess they did see that tobacco roll though. You know much the white man liked to smoke. He saw that damn tobacco roll. If he ain't see nothing else, he was blindfolded. He ain't see the alpaca. He ain't see the niggas. He thought they was red men. He was blind. You know, they were blindfolded, colonizing. You know, the Indians was just that weak. They was able to be beat by a blindfolded opponent and that didn't know how they looked. Let them tell it. But like I say, the map makers was not making tobacco statues. They was making maps. They ain't had time to make no tobacco statues. A whole nother group of people was making tobacco statues. And for them not to know how they look, they made the same damn thing. One thing about it, the images became the same. So I don't believe all this. We didn't know how they was look. I hope you ain't dumb enough to believe that.
Big dummy.
So you know, we gotta corroborate the evidence. You gotta connect the dots, man. If you ain't connecting the dots, you ain't hitting on nothing. You ain't got half the videos House of Cards got. You ain't hitting on nothing, man. When you talking noise on YouTube about this Indian stuff, when you get 800 videos, let me know. Then I'll come back on a regular basis. Until then, I'm letting you knockers catch up. All you big knockers, little knockers, and everybody in between, and everybody who be reporting the House of Cards, I'm gonna give you knockers time to catch up with me. I give you knockers 6 months. If you knockers can't come up with 800 videos in 6 months, your favorite content creator ain't shit. But y'all support them though, so hey, you gonna support them even though they ain't shit. We get it. But while we corroborating this evidence, let's corroborate a little more evidence, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Blackjack be on one, man. I ain't coming, y'all know I don't come online unless I got something to talk about. Unless I feel like talking about something. I don't even come out here like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm staying in the house on you knockers. While we connecting the dots with all these tobacco rolls and stuff, man, I know people don't be paying attention because people be wanting to. You know how I know people don't be paying attention? I'm going to tell you how I know people ain't paying no attention. I'm going to tell you how I know people ain't paying no attention. It's so simple. I know people ain't paying no attention because I be looking at their thumbnails and shit. I be looking at their thumbnails. As soon as I see a nigga with his thumbnails looking like this right here, talking about the Indians was black, and then this nigga got anybody on his thumbnail that look like this, I know he don't know what he talking about. I know he just capping. It better not be on nobody on your thumbnail with no hair like this. Better not be. I don't care how dark you think they is. If I see any one of your thumbnails and you got an old straight long hair person talking about these are people, I know you don't know what you're talking about. I know you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. If you ain't showing like you know, House of Cards don't show you nothing but nappy headed noggers. That's it. Steven Scuba in the house, tribe up. What? All right, answer this. Where's this man at on these? Why don't we see him on these advertisements? We see nappy headed Nagas. You never see these people. I don't care how dark he is. They're not related to us, and we not mixed with them. I don't care what you say. So, I just at the same time, people make these content, these videos, and a lot of confusion being spread around. People confusing people, because like I say, you look at the evidence people provide, you look at their show, and I'm looking at their thumbnail. Even if they might sound like they talking good, but then when I look at the thumbnail and I see somebody like this, I'm all the way throw it off. I'm out. So you can talk all this black Indian stuff and this and that. Soon as I see people that look like this on your thumbnails, I can't deal with you, because you just saying stuff and you don't really get it yourself. The blind leading the blind. But a lot of people really don't understand when it comes to this, and you see these tobacco rolls and you connecting these dots on this evidence, and it's the Naga, the Indian is the Naga every single time. And you got these long hair, straight head people on there. That is not who the Indians were. The Indians were nappy headed, Cookie Bush. He got a kitchen back there. And he leaning on his tobacco roll. And he got the leaf right there. And he ain't the only one. And he is not the only one. Just like this image ain't the only one with the roll on the table. We connecting dots and we corroborating evidence. That is not the only one. If you took the time to slow down and stop listening to people talking about the Racial Integrity Act and all these stupid ass laws, and showing you long straight haired people on their thumbnail at the same time, you probably would notice all the damn Negroes that got that's holding the tobacco roll. Not only the pearl necklaces and everything else that the House of Cons done exposed. The whole tobacco roll. You ain't paying attention. You don't need all that other goofy stuff people talk about to prove who he is. All you gotta do is pay attention. And the Naga don't got no long, straight hair. So stop showing people on your thumbnails with long, straight hair talking about it's us. You confusing our family. You say, oh yeah, Blackjack, that's just two. That's just two, Blackjack. That's just two. An Indian. So what, he ain't got feathers on? He's still a nigga. And there's this tobacco roll. Do you know what you're looking at? Blackjack, that's three you got, Blackjack. And there's some more. I could pull up more. I got them already. But when people talk about this subject, man, everybody swear they know what they talking about. Everybody just putting out information. They just clowning on their lives and doing all this goofiness stuff. I ain't with all that, man. I am a real scholar. I am a real researcher. I do not play around with people. And we talk about this tobacco. We talk about these niggas. And we talk about all this and that and slavery. But people don't slow down and ask the right questions. So people also ask, when were Native Americans enslaved? In our hemisphere, indigenous slavery occurred in every part, every major area, both predating, that means before, and outlasting, that means after, so-called African slavery. So American Indian slavery started before African slavery, and it went on after African slavery was supposed to have been over? Yes. During the 4 centuries between the arrival of Columbus and the beginning of the 20th century, some 5 million Native American people were enslaved. Indigenous people were enslaved. When were Native Americans enslaved? How did tobacco lead to slavery? Okay, now we connecting dots and we corroborate there. So you mean tobacco led to slavery, not cotton? You always got told cotton. You always got told you was a collar and you was picking cotton. You always got told slavery was all about cotton. They hiding stuff from you. The major part about slavery was for tobacco. It was not about cotton. Cotton was a cheap crop. Come on. All right. When you go, let me ask you this. Okay. Take your ass to that Arab store, to the Arab Moors working in your neighborhood. Go up to their store and tell him you need a pack of Newports and you need a white t-shirt made out of cotton, and you see which one costs the most. And once you figure that out, you will figure out that tobacco is a bigger crop than cotton. And tobacco led to the slavery of black people, not cotton. Tobacco led to the slavery of black American Indians, not Africans. Your ancestors was picking tobacco. And they didn't come from Africa. And we just corroborating the evidence because we see these tobacco statues, we see these map images with the tobacco roll on them, and we sit here and we study, and it turns around to tell us that tobacco is at the heart. It's at the heart. It's at the center of the triangular trade led by the Portuguese. Tobacco was grown in Brazil. Well, yep, where all them niggas at. Particularly in the Bahia region. Yep, where all them niggas at. But its intensive cultivation required a large workforce. Hence, the need for slaves to plant and process the product. How those slaves look that planted and processed the product? Well, the slaves had to know all about it. Them niggas had to know all about tobacco, the plant and process. They couldn't have came from Africa. For them nigga slaves to plant and process tobacco, they had to be experts on it. Africans knew nothing about tobacco. You know who knew all about it? The American Indians did. Tobacco, the most versatile cash crop. I thought cotton was the most versatile cash crop. No, tobacco was. But why didn't they tell us about tobacco being the most versatile cash crop? Well, Blackjack, they ain't tell you about tobacco being the most versatile slave crop. Because tobacco is forever tied to American Indians, and they didn't want you to know that, Blackjack. They didn't want you to know tobacco was forever tied to American Indians, so they couldn't tell you about tobacco being the main crop that the colonizer came to America to steal and then enslave the Indians for. They can't tell you that. You're going to figure too much out. In colonial America, tobacco was the most influential crops in cultivation outside of gold. Colonists like Virginia profited heavily from its agricultural success. The successful cultivation of tobacco began when John Rolfe, this is what they always say, right, planted South American tobacco seeds called Nicotiana tobacco in 1612. Well, I thought you said the first niggas came in 1619. From there, tobacco production spread from the Tidewater area to the Blue Ridge Mountains, especially dominating the agriculture of the Chesapeake region. It became such a huge commodity that the Virginia House of Burgesses made it a requirement for tobacco to be inspected and directed the construction of warehouses in port towns where tobacco would be brought by planters. So when did they have time to go to Africa if they're doing all this? As tobacco became more valuable, its uses as tobacco became more valuable, its uses expanded from smoking to use as currency. It was used for just about anything. Purchasing indentured servants, even indentured slaves, indentured servants and slaves. A servant is a slave. Servants and slaves, the same thing. Purchasing slaves to cultivate the crops, paying taxes, or purchasing manufactured goods and items from the local store. What really caught my attention was something much, much more interesting than the tobacco itself. While transcribing ledgers from the Colchester store account 1760 to 1761 of John Glassford and Alexander Henderson, I noticed that not all the people paying their accounts were doing so with their own tobacco, but tobacco from other people. This intrigued me because obviously people that grew tobacco could use it as currency. But how did a random man use someone else's tobacco as a form of currency to pay their account? The answer was that tobacco itself became a source of social currency as well as money. It became a way of paying off your accounts and a way of paying others, who then purchased items at the store using someone else's tobacco as payment. So tobacco was used as money, basically, not just to smoke. It was money. Cotton was never used as money. They wasn't out here trading t-shirts for money. You weren't paying no debts with no cotton. The picture above an example of an account credits from the Colchester store 1760-1761 of Glassford and Henderson. This account belonged to a man named Daniel Laughlin. On July 13, 1761, Laughlin credited a crop note for one hogshead, a barrel of tobacco, hogshead, nigger head, you know, of tobacco from the Pohick warehouse to pay for his account. He used tobacco as payment so that he could purchase items from the store. What I found interesting was the interesting mark indicating the tobacco's ownership, or tobacco mark. A capitalized I, a superscripted S, a capitalized S, a capitalized A, I mean. It reads ISA, which was a tobacco mark that represented not Daniel Laughlin, but Joseph Stevens. Tobacco marks most frequently match the initials of owner. In this case, it would be DL, which was identified as Laughlin's mark in 1759. This ledger shows that Daniel Laughlin credited the Colchester store a hogshead of Joe Stevens tobacco in September 1761. Stevens paid his account with an additional hogshead of tobacco. I found no immediate relationship between these men and the ledger other than that Laughlin used Stevens' tobacco to buy goods that he needed. As a local landowner, Stevens may have hired Laughlin for some service and paid him in tobacco. Regardless, Laughlin profited by £9, 19 shillings on the transaction, enabling him to purchase many different fabrics from the Colchester store: cotton, bearskin. So he was paying for cotton with tobacco, linen, polo sweaters, Louis Vuitton. They was paying for it with tobacco. This is 1751 map cartouche. See, I keep telling y'all, the maps gonna give up your history, what you don't understand. And look at the Indian. Is that an Indian right there? Look at the Indian. That's why they got it all blurred. Depicting the inspection and shipping of tobacco hogsheads from the Library of Congress. Let's see if we can get a better look at it. Look at the Indian on the picture. It's from a map, North Carolina. There go another cartouche. Now we just strolled up on this on some random shit. Where's the red man? Where the fuck is the red man? Where the fuck is the red man? Bitch, where your punk ass at, red man? Report this one. Let's just go ahead and save that image. I'm gonna use it later for something. Through my research, I learned a lot about what 18th century life was like. Tobacco opened up a new world of possibilities for American colonists, for the colonizers, right? So tobacco opened up a new world of possibilities for the colonizers. And it widened the range of its uses as time passed. People not only used their own tobacco as currency, but they used that of others as well. They exchanged tobacco for goods or paid other people with the crop, who then used it as currency in the local economy for whatever they needed. Although I do not know the specific relationship between these two men, they were connected through tobacco. Tobacco brought them together in a way that was beyond currency. It went from being a cash crop to a social crop. It brought individuals, families, and communities together. In my opinion, tobacco was not only the most valuable crop monetarily, but also culturally. Tobacco became its own culture, and that is what had an effect on me while doing my research. I was inspired by how this leafy green and relatively ugly looking plant took over the colonial economy and also impacted people's lives. And yeah, it amazed me too. Hey, Maxine Cross in the house, Tribe Up, salute one of the biggest supporters, the Cross family. Maxine and Kevin Cross always supporting, always showing love. They always hitting the cash out. They're one of my real supporters, and I fuck with them. And you know, a lot of other people watch the channel. You hear every day, but I never seen you in the support. Salute to Maxine Cross and the Cross family. Salute Tribe Up. Tobacco. Hey, look, they excluded. Look, oh, they left the Indian out. Look at that. We just now they got another one right here. He rolling up the barrel now. I would say they left the knock out. Damn, man. This is so easy, man. All you gotta do is study tobacco if you really want to know your history. If you really want to know where you came from, you study tobacco. In the dealings around tobacco, you study tobacco and the history of tobacco. You're gonna learn everything about slavery. You're gonna learn the black slaves ain't come from Africa. You're gonna learn that they was American Indians. Emily Jones Salmon and John Salmon, tobacco in colonial Virginia. It's like, okay, these the sources. Okay, they just showing their sources. I'll leave that up for a second. Anybody want to screenshot it or you want to go through them sources? The statutes at large being a collection of all the laws of Virginia from the first session of the legislature in the year 1619. Wow, 1619, huh? All about tobacco, huh? Tobacco in colonial Virginia. Colonial Virginia business records as a genealogical source. Oh. There's some stuff I'll check on later. We're going to continue with what we're doing right now. If you want to support the house, there's two ways to do it. We got the Cash App at the top of the screen, cash.app/$House of Cons. All support matters, and we appreciate all support. We serving the tribe humbly. And if you don't want to support on the Cash App, another way you can support is by joining the Patreon, and you'll get all the exclusive content. Because really, we ain't really even supposed to be on live tonight. We really ain't supposed to be rocking out about the end of May. But I just felt like chatting with y'all. But if you want to rock out with me on a regular basis, the House of Cons on Patreon, we just did a show the other day that was lit. And it got sources, so you might want to go check that one out. Indians sell cigars. Who's selling tobacco, man? Africans? Somebody let me know if they selling tobacco in Zimbabwe. They over there in West Africa. Where Dr. Umar at, man? I need a new dashiki. You know what I'm saying? Let me know if y'all know who got the tobacco. Oh, it's Indians. I thought it was niggas. Wait a minute. Indians, they said the Indians got us. Wait a minute. You mean tell me they look like this? Well, yeah, Blackjack on YouTube, on Google, but not according to the old maps of the times. But they know you're going to find them old maps. They know you're going to find the tobacco advertisements very easily. So guess what? They had to include them. And guess what? Now they're going to try to put the separation of your identity right here. Now they're going to say those same Indians and Negroes acting as if it's two different people. When the whole time, those Indians are Negroes. Not Indians and Negroes. Indians, Negroes. Indian / Negro. Indian is Negro. Not Indian and Negro. Stop lying. We know you lying because the nigga is real old right here on this old ass artwork. But this right here, you made this in 1996 when Tupac and Biggie was going at it. This little fake ass $5 Indian, you made this thing in 1996, man. When Biggie dropped the double album, you ain't fooling us. You ain't fooling us. That shit new as fuck. Don't try to act like that's the Indian. That's why I say slow down and pay attention. You moving too fast. Oh, see, you know them dumb Pan-African Moorish ass niggas. They gonna come in here and they gonna say, Dr. Umar, and they gonna say, oh, see, Blackjack, there's the Indian right there, and there's you niggas right here. There's the African American down there, Pan-African, and there's the Indian right here. And I'm gonna look at him and I say, you fucking idiot. You can't tell that this drawing down here is 300-400 years old, and this damn fake ass doll, Superman doll, is from 1996, fool. You can't. Let's start right there. You can't fuck with me in research if you can't even tell how old some shit is. How you gonna debate me with research? When you gonna sit here and tell me that a 1996 tobacco Indian is the real deal? Those same Indians and Negroes, those same niggas were often found stamped in ink upon the paper used to wrap pipe tobacco or snuff in the 1700s. Given the above, it should be no surprise that depictions of niggers, Native American niggers, are among the more common themes seen on cigar boxes, signs, and stationaries. It is important to note that this artwork was created almost exclusively by city-dwelling Caucasians. Okay. City-dwelling Caucasians made the images. Frequently, European immigrants who never saw an Indian. see, this what I'm talking about. Y'all so fucking stupid. Who wrote this fucking shit? They keep regurgitating the same stupid ass lie. You are so fucking dumb to even write this, and if you believe it, you even so fucking dumb. Man, look, man, I can't even, boy, I just can't, man. I can't do it, man. I just cannot. A Feather Dragon in the house, Stephen Scoob in the house. I just cannot. All these disclaimers, this a bold-faced, blatant lie, and it's a stupid lie. You gotta, like, if you believe this stupid lie, man, you worse than the person that wrote it. You dumb as hell. If you believe that, if you believe what I just read, you are dumb as all outdoors. Take it personal. I don't care who you are. Take it personal. Their depictions of Native Americans run the gamut. He got to explain why they black. And this was somebody who didn't even exist during the time writing the day. He didn't even exist in the 1700s, but he gonna explain why they drew him black. It is important to note. Why is it important for you to emphasize and note something that ain't being said? Why is it so important for you to disclaim and note? It is very important to note because we don't want the niggas to know that they the real Indians and to fight and take their land back and start killing people. We don't want that to happen. So it is very important to note that this artwork was created almost exclusively by city-dwelling Caucasians, frequently European immigrants who never saw an Indian. How dumb is that? How dumb is that? How fucking dumb is that? Oh, you never saw a Martian? You never saw a Martian? Well, let me get you to draw one for me. Matter of fact, I want you to draw something for me, advertising tobacco, and I want you to make me some Martians. I want you to make me some Martian statues, and let's see how they look. But you never saw them, though. That is so stupid. Those city-dwelling Caucasians and European immigrants, they didn't tell you that they never saw. This is your opinion to explain why they black. This is this writers and all these other historical liars. This is their opinion to explain why these depictions are black. Because notice they had to emphasize city-dwelling Caucasians. They had to emphasize their color. City-dwelling Caucasian and frequently European immigrants who never saw an Indian. Man, cut the... I would sit right here for 5-10 minutes. I don't care. We're going to get this point clear tonight. You're going to get this point clear tonight. They never saw an Indian. Their depictions of Indians, of Native Americans run the gamut from realistic to entirely imaginary. So how, if you never saw them, how, see, contradiction. Easy to spot contradiction. Easy to spot. City-dwelling Caucasians and European immigrants never saw an Indian. Their depictions of Native Americans were realistic. How is realistic if they never fucking saw them? Too entirely imaginary. You gotta explain the nigga. You gotta explain that nigga. With the latter, the more common. Oh, the imaginary, the more common. With the latter, they say, yeah, the imaginary one's the more common. But see, this is another game. Because see, you would think that this is the imaginary one and this is the real one. The imaginary one is here. So he might be telling the truth. Wink, wink. He might be telling the truth without telling them. He say, their depictions of Native Americans run the gamut from very realistic to entirely imaginary. Entirely imaginary. And it ain't imaginary. It's done on purpose, intentionally. Because when you conquer a land, you have to rewrite the history. You ain't got to kill everybody. When you steal the land, I'm in charge. Now, the past is what I say it was. And you niggas wasn't even over here. You was in Africa. Matter of fact, the Indians was my people. They look like me now. Forget all about these old ads and stuff. Forget what your, don't believe your eyes, listen to me. Don't believe your eyes, listen to me. They're depictions. Don't believe the fuck you saw. Don't believe what people saw in 1700s. Listen to what I say today. It is important to note that this artwork was created almost exclusively by city-dwelling Caucasians, frequently European immigrants. The migrant border crisis, who never saw their depictions, who never saw an Indian, but their depictions of American Indians, Native Americans, run the gamut from realistic to entirely made up, with the latter the most common. Note that whereas depictions of blacks were most often derogatory. Oh, wait a minute. Whoa, we on blacks now, huh? I thought we was on Native Americans. Yep, that's right, Black Jack. We are. That's what we mean, blacks. Their depictions of Native Americans run the gamut. Note that whereas depictions of blacks were most often derogatory, the majority of Indian boxes in this group and display positive, even stately images. Man, yeah, get the fuck out of here, man. I can't even. I barely can make. I'm not finna read this whole hijack. I barely can make it through this hijack. I think y'all get the point though. These fakes, these frauds, yeah, because they say, yeah, the imaginary ones were more common. I see that. Very common imaginary ones, because they changed them, but they didn't say the earliest ones. See, so the earliest ones wouldn't be the most common. Those are the ones they tried to hide. The first ones, the earliest. No, get rid of those. Make a whole bunch of these. Get rid of this. Later on, we tell them African slaves. Make a whole bunch of these. Just look better. Yeah. So you get to them old maps. If you want to find out what map this image come from in the background, I suggest you join the Patreon. It ain't never too late. If in 2024, $5 is what $1 used to be. You used to can get a McDonald's double cheeseburger for $1. That shit cost your ass probably about $5 now. So if you you know, $5 today is $1 yesterday. So if you ain't got $5 a month for the Patreon, man, I don't care. But if you interested in the sources and you want to get the lives on time, join the Patreon, my nigga. Hey, Blackjack, this House of Cons, man. Y'all support the house. Tribe up. We out. See y'all next time. Maybe in the end of May. Maybe before. I don't know. I don't know how y'all gonna treat me. We'll see. Peace.